Boris Johnson's staff got drunk, brawled and abused cleaners during COVID lockdowns. Parties that went on until the early hours of the morning. Drunken staff vomiting and fighting with each other. Downing Street walls stained with red wine. And an illegal birthday party for Britain's Prime Minister. That was the scene at the heart of Boris Johnson's government, while the rest of the United Kingdom was banned from seeing friends or relatives. A lot of email exchanges have been discovered, including some where staff openly discussed hiding their partying from the media. Speaking in Parliament moments after the report was published, Johnson said he was humbled and has learned my lesson, adding, "I take full responsibility for everything that took place on my watch." But he also repeated previous claims that parties only escalated after he left, and insisted he was surprised and disappointed that several drink-fueled events took place. And he suggested that the cramped quarters of the government buildings and the extremely long hours of his staff responding to the COVID-19 crisis could explain why several parties and social events took place. "I briefly attended such gatherings to thank them for their service, which I believe is one of the essential duties of leadership," Johnson said. 2/3 of Britons said that Johnson should resign. You cannot be a lawmaker and a lawbreaker. It's time to pack his bags. Johnson attended a garden party in May 2020 for around half an hour, where approximately 30 to 40 people were present. Could you also suggest they bring their own booze? Not sure we will have enough. This is an email from Martin Reynolds, Johnson's principal private secretary. The next day, Reynolds noted the media had not reported on the party, writing to a colleague, "We seem to have got away with it." In one email exchange, staff were told to avoid walking around waving bottles of wine, while reporters were in the building, and to keep the sound down at gatherings when a COVID-19 ministerial press conference was taking place. Before a December 2020 virtual quiz that Johnson attended part of, an official sent a message to staff relating to drunkenness and advised them to leave Downing Street through the back exit to avoid press photographers. A night of heavy drinking on the eve of Prince Philip's funeral, which took place during lockdown rules that forced the Queen to sit alone to say goodbye to her husband of nearly 74 years, resulted in a child's swing in the Prime Minister's garden being broken. Staff left that event well after midnight, with the last individual leaving at 4:20 a.m. Some staff felt uncomfortable at the behavior inside number 10 but feared raising the issue. And on other occasions, custodial staff were treated poorly by those involved in events. I was made aware of multiple examples of a lack of respect and poor treatment of security and cleaning staff. This was unacceptable. Johnson's time in office has been derailed by the Partygate scandal. He initially denied any events had taken place. Some of the lawmakers in his own Conservative Party have joined opposition calls for him to resign in recent weeks, and he will now have to convince his colleagues to stand by him despite the slew of allegations. There is a contrast between the events inside Downing Street and across the country as a whole. Britain endured 3 strict lockdowns and various other regional measures during the pandemic, which claimed more lives in the UK than in any other country in Europe. During those periods, laws limited attendance and physical contact at funerals, and kept people away from dying relatives in hospitals and care homes. There we have it, the COVID-19 bereaved families for Justice UK said in a statement on Wednesday. Whilst the country had one of the highest death rates in the world from COVID-19, they were celebrating over cheese and wine, and drinking themselves sick. The messages in the report show they knew how disrespectful they were being to the families they were failing, but that didn't bother them, they added. The group urged Johnson to leave office, saying he has treated us like they treated their cleaning staff, and security who challenged their law breaking at the time, like we're an inconvenience, like we are dirt.